going through the reverse hyperextension on the GHD. I really like it for lower back and glute strengthening at the same time because it kind of forces them to work together. We don't really hyperextend as such. There's a small amount of that, so you do get some extension through the back, but you're getting a concurrent extension through the hip and the low back, which means the glutes and the low back are having to work synergistically, which is essentially what they're meant to do to extend the body. Now, what we're going to be doing with this one, we want to make sure that our hips are the pivot point. We don't want our stomach to be resting on the pad because that's going to mean that our low back is going to go through a lot of excess motion. We want it to be the hips as the central point. So the hips are going to be driving forward into the pad to lift up, and then we're going to be coming in underneath and even overstretching a little bit, pushing the feet forward just to increase that hip angle a little bit, which can even have a bit of a decompressive effect on the low back. So what we're going to be doing with this one, hands are going to be over the handles or even the foot pads, depending on what you find comfortable. And hips are going to be right on that pad. So not the stomach, the hips. Because if you've got a full stomach, that's going to be real bad. So from there, nice and steady, nice and stiff. Hips are weight bearing. My feet are going to be turned ever so slightly outwards. See how my toes are apart? And we're going to come forward underneath until we get a stretch through the hamstrings, glutes, maybe even the low back. And then we're going to push our hips forward. And as a result, those heels are going to lift up. Sinking down, stretching, and extending. See how my low back's not really moving all that much. Now, when it comes time to progress this one, we want to get that little bit of an increase in strength because we really want to be able to progress everything. We want to take a small amount of weight. Now, that could mean ankle weights if you have them. There's some things you can use to attach weight plates to yourself with this, but in most commercial gym environments, you're going to be best off just using a dumbbell so that you don't have to supply all your own equipment. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to grip that dumbbell in between my feet, actually this way. So it's going horizontal and I can squeeze my heels in around that dumbbell. Now this is going to require us to move in a slow controlled manner, otherwise that dumbbell is going to move around a bit. But other than that, it's exactly the same. We're just going to be holding position, sinking in underneath, pause under stretch, press the hips forward, and those heels rise. Stretch, pause, and driving backwards.